Hi, welcome to an extra super fancy special edition of Cooking with Mr. M and MJ. I'm Mr. M, this is
MJ and Mommy. She's
And-
a sushi expert.
So she's gonna show us how to make sushi! Woo!
Ow!
Alright, a little bit different format today. We're gonna go over all the gear and items that you need before we get making some cucumber and avocado rolls. First thing you'll need, obviously, is sushi rice. So if you don't know how to make that, watch the last episode. You will need an extremely sharp knife and a knife sharpener if your knife is dull. You're going to need some sort of a peeler for our cucumbers. And you'll need some ripe avocados. Don't make sure they're not rock hard because they're not going to work. You want them to be nice and squishy. You'll also need a sushi mat that is wrapped in plastic, front and back. You'll need a little bowl of water, which is holding up MJ's baby doll. And finally, you're going to need some nori, also known as seaweed. Let's get cooking.
Alright gang, first thing we're going to do is peel that cucumber, obviously like Molly is doing right now. Make sure you hold on to it, it's slippery. Then we're going to go ahead and cut it up. How are we going to cut it up, Molly?
We are going to cut it up into sort of matchstick pieces. You want them to be 2 or 3 inches long, and I did not do this in the video, but if it is not an English cucumber, you can also cut out the seeds because eating cucumber seeds isn't always the most fun.
Alright, onto the avocado. We're going to go ahead and saw that bad boy in half. Be very careful. This is a good way to cut your hand open, which is super fun. And then we're going to go ahead and stab that pit. Molly makes me nervous because she's holding that giant knife right next to her hand, stabbing the pit. And then we're going to go ahead and peel it. If you're Molly, if I make sushi, I'm too lazy to peel it. I actually cut it in the shell. You can do it whichever way you choose. Molly's shaking her head.
And again, you're going to want to cut that into small pieces, probably 2 or 3 inches.
And MJ is going to help peel because, you know, it's nice to have a kid to do all of your work for you and make half of the sushi.
You also want to cut your sheet of nori in half, so that way you're not left with a poor seaweed to sushi ratio. So I am cutting all of these squares in half to leave a nice rectangle.
Pro tip, you want to make sure you cut it the right way too. If you do it the wrong way, it's going to be super weird looking. All right, time to put that rice on. The rice has to be room temp, and then we're going to go ahead and do what Molly's doing, which is put it on the seaweed. Duh.
And you want to make sure you wet your hands first because otherwise this rice is very sticky and it will not be fun. You'll also notice that I am putting the nori in a vertical fashion, and that's because I have a tendency to overfill sushi, dumplings, any sort of thing that you could possibly put, burritos, everything gets overfilled. But if you do your sushi this way, you don't have to worry about it because you have plenty of room. So you want to do your first roll with the mat to seal everything in there, and then you continue moving it and sealing it with the mat with one final kind of squish at the end to keep it all together.
And if you've done it right, it should look something like that. And if you're MJ, you're going to constantly be eating, in this case, some of our nori. MJ's going to go ahead and try making one, so this is sure to go well. She's going to probably put the right amount of rice. Yes, maybe. Looks pretty good, actually. Notice how she got her hands wet first so that the rice doesn't stick to her hands. Then she's going to put some fillings on. If you're Molly, then you're going to put way too many fillings on. But MJ puts just the right amount, and then you want to start folding it. Try not to push too hard when you're squeezing, otherwise you can have stuff like squirt out, and that's never fun. Obviously, you don't want to do what MJ just did and flatten your sushi, but I have a feeling she doesn't care because she's just going to eat it like, well, probably right about now. That was almost like slow-mo there. That was unbelievable. Nice job, MJ. Now we have to cut it up. You want to have a very sharp knife for this. I don't have like a super fancy Japanese one. Some people put water on the knife when they cut it. I don't do that because I think it makes it soggy, but I always wipe the knife in between because that rice is very sticky and will stick to the blade of your knife. Depending on how fat you make your rolls, you should be able to get 4 to 6 pieces out of each one.
Alright, so we've got us a full plate of homemade sushi. Woohoo! Time to eat, right? Well, almost. First thing, if you like spice, which you should, a little bit of wasabi paste in a small bowl. You can buy this pretty much anywhere. If you want it to be more spicy, add more wasabi. Duh. Then we're going to take some soy sauce. If you don't have soy sauce or if you have a gluten allergy, you can sub in tamari or aminos, whatever works for you. And we're going to take some chopsticks and we want to combine the wasabi into our soy sauce so it gives it a little bit of zing and extra flavor. Now, in case you didn't know, sushi was originally a street food. It seems fancy in the US, but it's really not fancy in Japan, except for some of those super high-end restaurants you may have seen documentaries about. So really, this is meant to be a finger food, which is why it's wrapped in seaweed. So, MJ, you ready to give it a taste test? We'll get you a little bit of soy
I
sauce.
already did eat it.
Yeah, I know you did. You ate a lot already, but we're gonna do it for the camera.
I don't want that in here.
Well, you don't have to use it. So I'm gonna take an avocado roll because it is my absolute favorite. You dip just a little bit. You don't want to drench it. You just want a little bit of that salty goodness. Mmm. So good, and it's got that nicely flavored rice that we made. Remember, we make sushi rice. Don't get Uncle Ben. Don't make the minute. Make sushi rice to make sushi. All right, signing off for Cooking with Mr. M and MJ. I'm Mr. M. This is
MJ.
Mrs. M.
And if you like our channel, please feel free to subscribe, like, and share. You know all that stuff. We will see you again very soon.
You know I'm holding on so tight because I'm not actually standing on my chair. Ah!